Okay, guys, how's it going? Peshcat's here with the Salt Hermit himself. Say hi.
Hello.
All right, and today we're gonna be talking about the Cinderella Girls restriction list, the Bushi Road restriction list for Weiss Schwarz, and Chaos, I guess, came out like this morning. Well, for me this morning, like what, like 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I got to wake up to this, and feels kind of bad, but the deck was really good, so it's kind of justified. So Rex and I spent the last like half hour or so coming up with like ideas for replacement, things like that. But we haven't told each other everything yet, so now we're gonna give each other our thoughts on how this is gonna impact uh, each of our decks, because we do run two different Cinderella Girls decks. He runs a red blue version, and I run a TP deck. So we're going to talk about how each of those decks is affected, what we think each of those two decks should be choosing out of the choose one of three. We're not going to be going over the other stuff like Monogatari or Lahar or Misakuro coming off.
That's
We can just let the memers on foreign celebrate their Misakuro finally coming back to four.
Yep.
But anyways, so we're gonna start with just talking about what each of the cards do real quick. So Power of Smile Rin is the finisher for the TP deck. Climax combo with Triad Primus, which is the same stock soul as the 1/1 Karen. It also has a draw two, discard two, put your top deck into stock. So it's a way to go through your deck while also basically treating itself as a 3/1, which is really good because its finisher does require a lot of stock. But the fact that it replaces one of its stock, the climax is a stock soul, makes it very easy to pull off multiple copies. Um, the second card on the list is Love's Horror Kome, which is a come into play, reveal up to four cards from, or look at up to four cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to one climax from those four cards, add it to your hand, send the rest to the waiting room, then choose one card from your hand and discard it if you added a climax to your hand. If you did not add a climax, you don't have to discard a card. So, very good card. The last card on the list is Miria Akagi. So, hey guys, Akagi's on the restriction list twice now. So, Miria is the Ricky effect. On play, pay one, clock one, search a level one or lower from your deck, and on attack, give 500 to any character. She can give it to herself. She can give it to anything. She can give it to something else. All right. So now that that's out of the way, we're gonna go over to Rex, and he's going to give us his thoughts on between Kome and Miria, which should stay in his version of the deck, which is the red blue deck. I'm gonna pull up his deck list here in a sec. So you can go ahead and talk about that. I'm gonna see if I can pull up one of my deck lists while you
All
do.
right. So I think, well, to me, because I run a red blue deck, I think it was pretty simple for me to just drop the Miria and put in Kome. Because in my point of view, there is a replacement for Miria in my deck, and that's Natsuki. I'll go into that later. But is there a replacement for Kome? I don't think there's another card right now that does the same thing as Kome. So that was relatively easy. But the reason why I like Kome more than Miria in this deck is because, well, apart from having a replacement for Miria in my deck, which is Natsuki, the mill, the the option to mill how much you want up to four is really good, and the added bonus of being able to pick up a climax uh makes this card like super stupid. And like yeah, Natsuki isn't like exactly like as powerful as Miria, but it in my opinion it gets a similar job done with clocking and plussing one hand, even though it has to be two different colors. But since my red blue deck is like 50-50, it doesn't it's fine for me. It also it well honestly to me it also serves as it could be like a discard, because you have to pay one, clock one, and then discard one,
Right.
and it's also like another mill, so it's fine. Um, for me, it's probably gonna like, oh, you're probably gonna mill a bit more climaxes out, but whatever. because this deck's mill is so strong it doesn't really matter. To me it's like I can mill my whole deck out in 1 to 2 turns. So this card is fine. Maybe it won't pick up it definitely won't pick up Minami as much, but it's fine. It fulfills a similar role, although not as good as Miria. So yeah.
Uh, Ultimately, it's also going to set up your salvage brainstorm to do more
Yeah,
because you're going to have more stuff in the waiting room.
yeah, it also does that. It's the utility around Komi is just too good. Like I can understand why people would play Miria over over the Komi is because like the argument is, oh, I can pick up Miria, I can pick up Minami, and like I can just hold on to a climax. But it's like to me the option the mill is just so much better.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, in terms of your deck, would the change just be straight -2 Miria +2 Natsuki?
yeah, that's what I'm testing right now. Um, I don't think I'll ever play more than 2 Kome, so I think Natsuki's probably gonna stay in here for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now then, before we go on to my deck, since I'm the TP player, in your opinion, what should TP keep?
I mean, TP. There's only one option for TP though, in my opinion. It's Power of Smile because that's how the whole deck revolves around that card. So
Okay,
I
I agree with that. So I'm gonna bring up. I found my list that I played the last few days. I played 2 tournaments with this deck, and just let me get it in here real quick. Uh, okay, wait, I don't want full screen, but hello?
hello.
Come on, no full screen, please. All right, there. So here's the deck I played. And you can't see it. Hold on. Let me send it to you on Facebook real quick.
Okay.
I will forward this to you. All right, I sent it to you in chat. Okay, so this
Yeah.
is the deck I played the last 2 tournaments, and between the 2 tournaments I went combined 11-1. So this deck is pretty dumb. Um, Specifically, I think okay, let me think. My one loss was to Milky Holmes. That was in top.
That's
That was
reasonable.
in top 4 of the HSI tournament.
That's
Um,
reasonable.
my wins with the deck. And this was just this specific build. Like I've had TP builds. I've been playing TP for like ever since it came out. The build I played before this was a very similar one, but the general idea is the same. So it won't be a problem for like how I get my point across. But anyway, so this deck did very well over the last couple of days, or last few days. Um, but the deck does run Power of Smile, Rin, and Miria and Kome. So I'm gonna have to choose one out of the three, and then justify how I will replace the other two. So like Rex said, I think Power of Smile is the best option out of the choose three. Um, just the fact that it's a double climax combo increases the value of the finisher even more because you don't have to give up climax slots. The fact that you can play one climax and get the double value out of it is extremely powerful for the deck, and I don't think it's worth giving that up for another finisher. So like some people they might try playing like Anya instead of Power of Smile Rin or something like that. But I don't think that's the correct choice. With a TP deck, you're pretty much locked into playing both the Triad Primus and the Trancing Pulse climaxes. And because of that, you might as well just play Power of Smile Rin. It's already a really broken finisher as is, uh, because it's basically a 3-1 and you're already running the climax combo as an on reverse combo to search during the mid to late game anyway. So there's really no point in not running the card. Now, this means that I'm gonna have to find a replacement for the Miria as well as the one copy of Kome. So I chose to only play one copy of Kome, and that worked out fine in this particular deck. Um, But the three Mirias, so let me just talk about what changes I made, because I already made a few changes, pulled some cards out of my stuff and put them into the deck. So if I could, just find the Arisu. Okay, here we go. Okay, so four cards to take out. Um, those four cards came out for these four. So two copies of Kaede. So this means I have four copies of Kaede now. Uh, Considering that I'm not going to have Miria for the early game, I'm going to want to have something that survives on the stage and is able to gain value. And the next best thing is, in my opinion, is Kaede, since she is a runner and she is big. So not only does the opponent have to be able to address her on two lanes, he's also going to have ways to kill her on two lanes. The Miku is going to be my choice to just like I guess hand fix a bit, because or both the Miku and the Arisu, I guess, both fulfill that role. The reason I wanted to go for a second Miku is because a lot of the times I would actually find myself like playing a Kome, grabbing like a stock soul and then discarding a pants, because this deck is this deck does get a few. This deck likes having like a lot of climaxes in its hand, so that you can repeatedly just like slap down stock soul and then keep getting value. But at the same time, if you trigger pants or you draw into your pants, then you're gonna want some way to get rid of those. And I know Kome didn't consistently accomplish that before, but since I'm already running 4 Rins, and I figure Miku is a very good card, so I'm gonna bump her to 2. And then the Arisu, also going to be a hand fix, but at the same time, Arisu does have potential to occasionally pick up a climax off of her discard a music character, draw 1 ability. So this is what I'm gonna try first. Another thing that I was thinking of was putting in a 4th Karen into the deck, so that I can more consistently get my back row set up. Some people in Asia are already running 4 Karens in their deck, and I think that might also be an option to try out. So those are my thoughts. You want to say
Yeah.
something?
I mean, well, like for both our decks, like in that sort of point of view, no. But like, I felt like, well, actually, like a lot of people, like when we are having the discussion at my locals today, they were saying how like it does not no like yeah it's the restriction was more of an inconvenience. It doesn't directly really like affect the deck that much. Like it they listened to only the Japanese scene, because like Japan right now is just overrepresentation. Like it's just the whole scene is just flooded with TP. Yeah, like
Mm.
all the lists you see are TP. Apart from like I think the Sapporo one BCF, the Sapporo BCF was running something similar to mine.
There were quite a few of like the blue red list popping up more recently, but it's still there's still a lot of
Yeah,
TP.
yeah. But people are just complaining that it's like, oh, Power Smile Ring is so OP, and then like they have like and the level 0 game is OP because they get to pick climax and I don't. It's like then yeah, you can put Kome on the list. Like it'd be it like the I think the more sensible thing, cause basically like TP is like one side, but is you put in like say something like Kome Uzuki the level 3 and TP Rin, then people would actually have to choose which one to run, because you can run the Uzuki, but then you sacrifice the utility of the mill and the good early play, and play like a less good early play, like in the form of Anzu, or you pick a good early play and lose the mill utility and the good finisher, and you play like Anya and maybe like Kyoko Burn or Cherry Burn,
Right.
or you play like the Kome and then you just yeah, and then the level 3 is like whatever. Yeah,
Mm.
I think that would have been more sensible, but because the Bushido only listens to Japan, the Japanese scene, which is also why we see Gatorade on there. It's kind of
Yeah.
like
Also, I kind of want to address one more thing because I feel like somebody might bring it up, but like yeah,
Mm,
so Kome, the reason that you're keeping in the deck is to grab climaxes, but also you said to like mill a lot. So
yeah.
typically, like when a card gets taken off the restriction list, you want to supplement it with cards that fulfill the same role, and the cards that I'm putting in place the Kome obviously don't fill like even remotely the quote unquote same role because they're both discard outlets. While this card is like more of a free mill. And just to address that real quick, this deck already runs 4 TP now and 4 Rin, so that's basically all the possible other milling that's even like possible in the set. So
Yeah,
there's really nothing left that fills the same role, at least not for this build.
yeah, but for
So
my build,
yeah,
it's like I can't play now because I don't play that side, and nor can I play Rin
yeah,
because half my other deck is red, right? So
yeah.
Kome is like, so say like
Kome Kome Mill is much more valuable for his deck,
yeah,
especially since like the majority of the milling in Rex's deck. I'll pull up Rex's deck again. I think it's
yeah,
this. The majority of milling for Rex's deck is through on reverse, which is the Minami or Brainstorm. So
yeah.
like my deck gets like 4 Rins for free mills. His mill either requires him to reverse a character or pay 1 stock or play a Kome. So the Kome
Or
Kome
or
has
like
more
go
value
to
in that deck. But you also have Uzuki.
yeah, but like yeah, the mill two is also there, but just like to put in perspective of people who are thinking like, oh, Miria's better than Kome. Like say in a red blue deck, say I have 8 cards in deck and I have 1 climax in there. You if you don't run Kome and you run Miria and you have the Miria in your hand or you don't have Minami, then you're kind of in like a sticky situation, right? Because if you trigger the climax, then you have 5 free cards, right? With the Kome, I can mill 4, and then say I can hit 3, or like I have an Uzuki, I can mill 2. If I already saw the climax and picked it up or something, I can mill 2, and I have 3 cards in deck left. So it's like the point of where you're about to refresh. That's where like Kome does the best because that's when you probably need the mill the most. And the usually there's one Kome in the waiting room at that point when you have like 20 to 30 cards in your waiting room. So if you hit with the brainstorm and then you play it out or you already have it in hand, it's just really good. It's basically like damage limitation, very good damage limitation as well,
Yeah.
which is why this card is better than Miria in my opinion.
Okay. Um so as like a last point, let's quickly talk about the downside of Miria not being able to push you to 1-6 or not one from okay, I'm still half asleep. From
Yeah, it's okay.
0-6 to 1-0. Like I don't know how that happened. Okay, yeah.
Mm,
So
yeah,
Miria can no longer or assuming that they're not running it, she can't push you from like 0-5 clock for turn, play Miria, go to 1-0.
yeah.
So how much do you think that's gonna affect uh, the decks?
Uh, well, all right. Well, let's put this. Well, for all right. I'm just talking in the perspective of my deck because my deck runs 4 Uzukis, and that's
All right,
kind
all right,
of a bit
okay,
crucial.
okay,
What?
okay. Go ahead.
Uh, uh. So like level IMAX for level 0, it's not like it's their level 0 is already like really good. Like they have a lot of things. They have utility and they have a beat stick, right? So you push me to 0-5. I don't have a Natsuki on the table that or maybe you didn't reverse my Natsuki. It's not the end of the world. Like Minami can get up to 8K with 1 stock with the startup. Well, yeah, that depending if
With
you
that
have
with
it,
the
but
Anya, right?
yeah, with the level 0 Anya, but it's like I can it's not the end of the world. Like you won't lose outright with not being able to level up before your opponent because you have like a plan B as well. Even though the plan B is not as good, you still have a plan B. Um, Whereas with the Kome, I think like cause like when you get up to like 1-4, one or like yeah like mid game, like start a mid game, you want to start canceling as much as possible, right? The Kome does that much. The Kome helps you mill into that point, which is like I rather stay an extra turn at level 0 without the Miria than just like lose half the game at level 0 at level 1 because I just like somehow unreasonably took like 5 to 6 damage in one turn. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I think. Yeah.
Okay. So hmm. Actually, I just thought of like one more thing that I think is worth bringing up. So and that is the mono blue, because some people do run this.
Yeah.
It's not like really appearing in tournaments, but like the mono blue deck that runs Minami and Power of Smile Rin, but isn't the TP deck.
Yeah.
So in that case, so you can be more flexible with this version because you are not running TP Karen. So you could just like drop the Power of Smile Rins much more easily than you could in like an actual TP deck.
Yeah.
So in this case, what do you do with that deck?
Well, it's simple. Like, you're running Power Smile and Kome, right? Then I just switch out the Power Smiles for like, say something like Anya.
Okay,
And
what happens to the stock soul in this case?
mm, actually, I I do like the build where it's Anya Ranko. I actually do. I actually have seen. I've seen that build around my locals. It's
Still?
okay. Yeah, yeah. It's okay. Uh, you use Ranko as like when your opponent is like 3-4, and then you use the Ranko. But before that, you use the Anya. But that's like one. That's one option you could go. Another option is I don't really know. You could run like I don't know. You could run Anya and TP Rin just by itself, even though that's probably not good. I'd run Ranko if that's if that was the case, because it still burns even though like it's not ideal. But you're looking to kill your opponent from that point on anyways. So I guess it's okay.
So
Uh,
are you still you're still keeping Kome in that deck?
yeah, I would keep Kome in that deck because Kome. To me, the value that Kome gives is just too high. So I'd probably run Kome in full blue. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much everything that we can realistically talk about because the only other CG deck that's really like okay, so there's like three other CG decks. So there's like Project Crone, but they have Mishra, so they don't even need this. They don't even need this list. You just play Kome and then you go.
Yeah, and then there's the
Um,
bunny deck.
there's that deck. That deck just like
That deck doesn't care about the restriction list. That deck doesn't care. It's just the same thing. You run Kome or Miria.
I would just pick Kome for
Yeah, me
that
too.
because most of the stuff you're looking for is costed, so you can't realistically Miria into all these costed cards and then
Yeah. Yep.
expect to like be able to function.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just pick Kome in that too. Um, and then the only other deck is the yellow one, which
Which is like
you
basically Insta Miria.
instant Miria because
Yeah.
you can't even realistically play Kome because you need like full yellow field for everything in that deck.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it, I think.
Well, actually, for the full blue deck, if you really want to build like if you really want the power of Smile, it's that's also fine. But then you have what?
Okay, the problem with that, going back to your deck, kind of, is that if you keep Power of Smile, not only do you not have the Miria, but you can't realistically run Natsuki.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I know. I'm talking about the full blue deck.
Right. I know, but I'm saying
Yeah.
you can't run Natsuki because you have no red to look for.
Yeah, I know.
So in that case, you not only lose out on your Kome, you also lose out on Miria.
Well, yeah. Also, oh yeah. It's been in the back of my mind. Yeah, I remember now. For people who think like, oh, I can't run Kome in my TP deck. Yeah, you could run another thing, cause like I think Randall knows. Like sometimes paying stock with TP is just absolutely like impossible. Sometimes it's so difficult, right?
Yeah, but the thing is that like
Yeah, well, if you know
Power Smile Rin is just such a dumb card that like it makes your
yeah,
late game it
no,
makes
yeah,
your late game good enough that like if you leave like one climax in there, then
yeah, I
sometimes it
know,
just
but like
doesn't do as
I
bad.
what I'm trying to say is that if you're crunching on Kome with it, and you have and you also have the trouble of paying out the stock. Well, and now with the restriction list, you could actually, well, in my local course today, we were discussing how we could actually use Yuki in the deck, the one that pays one and switches climaxes. Because since like you've got like pants, you there's gonna be a climax in your hand. You can just use the Yuki to pay one stock to climax switch, and
That is
we
definitely an
don't think,
option.
yeah, we don't think that's a problem. Like if you don't brainstorm that turn, that's fine. I can just tap two and give a music character plus 2K, and then give her a Shimakaze with the Chancing Pulse. That's all with Triad Primus. That's also like a possibility. So like, uh, I think the Kome does hit with the TP isn't really, well, it's bad, but like, yeah, again, there are replacements. It's just not as good replacements. Well, for my deck, it's like, yeah. Well, we talked about my deck already. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think I might try out Yuki at some point as well. So,
Yeah.
um,
1 to 2 is good.
yeah. But I think that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
Talked about pretty much everything that we could talk about. So, all right, guys.
Yeah.
Hope you all enjoyed. And sometime later this week,
We'll talk about the rest
we'll
of
talk
the.
about the rest.
Yeah.
Trying to get Lychee punted in on it from top tier tiers. So, anyways, and I might do a deck profile on this. I mean, I might as well now that this build is dead. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's it. See you guys.
See you.